referee outside. The referee actually, that there is the ref and the timekeeper. One of them's a timekeeper, one of them's a ref. This is the press, and here are all the toffs, and that's the National Sporting Club in Covent Garden, London, where if you wanted to win a British title, you had to do it in that building. You were not allowed to fight for a British title unless it was in that building. And you got the belt, which was given by the National Sporting Club, thanks to Lord Lonsdale. And those belts still exist and are highly sought after. Unfortunately, Hayes ended up like that on the left, and Driscoll won the fight. And there's another shot of it. You get the general gist of what boxing was like. Gloves, quite big gloves, but in those days you'd box with 6-ounce gloves would be normal. You could agree to box with 4, and there were even instances of people boxing with 2-ounce gloves. Now today the minimum is 8, and if you're above welterweight or welterweight and above, it's 10. So if you're sparring, you're probably using 12, 14 or even 16. So imagine what a 6-ounce glove felt like as a heavyweight. But that was normal, 6 ounces, and as I say, sometimes 4. If you look a bit big, they were made of horsehair, not like today's, and you could pull the horsehair back and get the knuckle out, and you really make them into really potent weapons. Right then, that's the same club. Very quickly, that's Tommy Burns, a world heavyweight champion, defending his title in the ring at the National Sporting Club. Lord Lonsdale is sat here. That's Lord Lonsdale, and that's the referee Eugene Corrie, and the timekeeper just, you know, watching the thing as the boxers are coming together prior to the contest. So that's how him. And that night, the King wanted to be there, but he couldn't be, and he insisted on the result being phoned through by the proprietor of the club, Peggy Bettinson.
Is that the Catherine Royal?
No, right. I'll just tell you brief about. Okay, I'll cover that now. He wanted to know the outcome, and he had to make a telephone call to Buckingham Palace as soon as the fight was over. He wanted to be there that night, couldn't be. What happened with the NSC was it kind of folded in 1929 when the boards took over administering the sport. It was revitalised in the 50s, and then in the 60s and 70s there was a lot of boxing there, and that was the Café Royal on Piccadilly. It was the same name, different building. National Sporting Club. Right then, here is the National Sporting Club programme for 1914, and you will see that over the course of this month, which I think is June, sorry, there is the Navy and Army competitions taking place. This is their own this is not the Navy and Army Championships, this is the National Sporting Club. They held a competition every year for Naval and Army lads. And they are saying here that the winner will get £9 and a silver cup, and the runner-up £4, and the losing semi-finalist £2 each. And they are going to take place over the course of Thursday, Friday, and then the Monday evening in 1914, prior to the outbreak of the First World War. Meanwhile, these are all taken from the Edwardian era. These are reports that took place in the boxing press, and it mentions here that on board HMS Revenge, the boxing entertainment took place on the 19th, promoted by the Canteen Committee. First item, second, there's a top of the bill fight there, I think it's 6 or 10 rounds. And that contest took place on board ship, as indeed did this one on board HMS Terrible. Boxing and wrestling tournament. So boxing was promoted and people fought for money as naval ratings on board their own ship. And people went along to watch it. The results were reported in the equivalent of boxing news. I mean, you just couldn't imagine it, could you? Yes?
What do you come to the result?